Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And our beloved sisters and brothers lost their lives. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat. Hayya ala salat. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Dear listening audience, we greet you all degrees of peace in paradise and prosperity. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'd like to welcome you all to our special, super special series, July 4th weekend, New Declaration of Independence series, where we're going to be addressing and commemorating and celebrating 90 years, 90 years of history with this new Muslim community in this part of the world, as well as tying in to Independence Day. In fact, we were told by Imam Muhammad that it is said that the mystic, the professor, the savior, we would call him, came on July the 4th, 1930. He came on their Independence Day to give us independence, or to show of us having our independence. And so throughout this week, we're going to be addressing a lot of things, covering a lot of things. We have a whole lineup. Our dear brother, our co-host, engineer, man of all talents, he's going to introduce our lineup for this week. So every day we're going to present one of our muezzins, which is the caller to prayer, which you heard. We had a glitch in the first one. We'll get that fixed for the next one. But the one you heard that all the way through was our dear brother at the Taqwa Community Learning Center, Imam and muezzin, brother Khalid Ali. And he recited the Adhan, and the Adhan means to come or call to attention, to bring to attention. And in the translation, we say God is greater. And we say that 4 times. God is greater, God is greater, God is greater. Greater than what? Anything you can imagine. God is greater, God is greater, God is greater. More important than what? Anything you can imagine. Then we bear witness that there is no one worthy of worship except the one God. And we are a witness. We are a witness to that. We are a witness that there's no one worthy of worship except the one God. So we say that twice. Then we say we bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of God. Muhammad is the messenger of God. We say that twice. And in explanation we were given that the mortal human being qualifies to be the messenger of God. Because Muhammad, we believe, we trust, we have knowledge that he is the model for humanity. So by explanation, when we say Muhammad or Rasulullah, we're saying Muhammad or humanity, the human being, qualifies to be the messenger of God. Then we bring our attention to the right. Hayya ala salah, come lively to prayer. Hayya ala salah, come lively to prayer. And this prayer we know is education. It's enlightenment. So when we say salat, we're saying enlightened education. Come to bring our life interests, our life concerns should be based upon and in enlightened education. We say that 2 times. Then we go to the left. Hayya ala falah. Come lively, come with your life to falah. And falah is a simple term, farmer, a cultivator. It's translated by explanation, success. So by us giving our attention to the one God, recognizing that he's the only one, and he communicates to humanity through honorable human beings, through messengers, and we receive revelation that establish us for salat, we get success, we get cultivation, and we have to cultivate our soul as well as our environment. And we say that twice. Then we go to the forward, Allahu Akbar, God is greater, God is more important. La ilaha illallah, there's no one worthy of worship except Allah. So that brief explanation of the Adhan that was given over 1400 years ago by our beloved brother and Imam, a treasurer, a deliberator of information, as well as responsible for military advancement, Bilal. So we're thankful to Allah for that. So with all that introduction, now we can get right into our conversation, our discussion. We have a special viewing we're going to do today, but I'll turn it over to my dear co-host, Brother Bilal. Thank you.
Yes. So peace and blessings again. Assalamu alaikum. That is the universal greetings of peace and blessings be to you. We thank you all for tuning in to our debut for this week's very special theme, which is titled "The New Declaration of Independence." This is kicking us off from July 1st today to July 7th, and we have a nice plethora of very stimulating exchanges that will be taking place, and very gracious guests that will be joining us as well for a lot of the programming this weekend. So we're starting today with the kickoff. We're going to do the Seeds of Awakening review, which is a special documentary that we will be debuting here about the Nation of Islam, and more particularly about the Philadelphia Muslim community. But it's a great documentary. We'll be showing that in just a matter of a few minutes, so hold tight. And then tomorrow, we will be discussing the transition, the 1975 review. We'll be doing a review of the transition, with the display of the debuting of the Savior's Day 1975 lecture delivered by Imam Wafiddin Muhammad upon when he took leadership, and when that took place. So we'll be debuting that and discussing that. And Friday, which is our beloved day in the calendar for the believers, for the Mu'minun, it is the Yom Jum'ah, or the Day of Assembly, for the believers. We will be having a khutbah to start off at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then going into later on the afternoon, we will have a special, very special guest, Miss Monica Grant. She is an author of the book Mind Your Business. It's a guide to young entrepreneurs. So she will be debuting that with us and discussing business, discussing entrepreneurship at 3 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. All these events take place on this platform, New Freedom Exchange. So like the page, share the content, and please engage. Later that evening, we will have 2 other programs. So at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, we have the Street Scholar meets Shariaki. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a cross-generational exchange there with the Street Scholar and our beloved Shariaki. And the Street Scholar has some publications coming out, and he will be with us, God willing. And so we love Shariaki, which for those who have been tuning in, he's been on our platforms on several occasions. So we will happy to have him back, inshallah, God willing. And then at 9 o'clock, we have the debut to Sister Lish 2X, the artist Lish 2X, will be debuting her Not Savage video, #NotSavage. Her articulation and cultural expression of Megan Thee Stallion's version of a savage. This time we're not calling ourselves savages, we're calling ourselves not savage. So you want to be here to that, because this is our cultural expression, you know what I'm saying? And this is the healthy expression that is needed during this time. So that wraps up Friday, and then we head right into Saturday, July 4th, 2020. Remind you, the theme is still the new Declaration of Independence. So Saturday, we kick off in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. We will have the students of Imam 150 Muhammad's class reunion with the class participants that sat with him, with the Imam directly, and participated in the class. They were given a lot of information. A lot of scholarship took place in that class, and a lot of our beloved scholars and some of our our cultural performers were in that class. So we want to bring them together for a reunion and to see each other virtually. Probably will be the first time since they have seen each other, I would think, and have such a reunion. So this is a first. Sunday, July 5th, we have the 3 p.m. from 3 to 5 p.m. We have the 90-year celebration of Elevation Roundtable. Now that's going to be a good one, because we have a lot of academic scholars within our community who have documented our expressions and our history throughout the time. Remember, we are celebrating 90 years, and we cannot cheat ourselves. We cannot say that the first years end in 1975. They do not end in 1975. They actually continue after 1975, and we have to embrace the full historical context in order to get a healthy and balanced perspective on the expressions that took place in this country for the Afro-American experience. So that is the 90 years of celebration of Elevation Roundtable. That will be from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. And then on Monday, July 6th, at 7 o'clock, we have the station IWDM. We have the We the People presentation, which will be on the station IWDM. That's Blog Talk Radio. And that's Monday at 7 o'clock. And then Tuesday, to wrap it up, on July 7th, we have at 3 o'clock, Dear Family of the Sacred Scripture. Dear Family of the Sacred Scripture, to wrap it up on Tuesday, July 7th. That will be here on New Freedom Exchange platform as well. So as you see, we have a lots of special content for this week, and we ask our audience to please continue to share the streams, and invite people to like the page and check us out.
Excellent. This is really just a springboard. We have a special announcement on July 7th of our future engagements that we're going to participate in on this platform. Allah has blessed us to expand and expand and expand, and we want to respect that expansion and invite people to join us and be a part of us. And at no further ado, we don't have any questions. Let me check the line real quick, see who we have on live. Thank you for those who are joining us. I'd like to see if I can greet any people that's on. Let me get to the screen. And we also shared, I think the deadline is over for those who wanted to submit any of your experiences with the CRADE committee. But we did make that announcement on our various platforms for Clear Glass Media by Yumna and Muhammad Kadar. They're putting together a documentary recalling those who experienced the committee to remove all images that attempt to betray the divine committee to share your experience with them. So I think we're past that deadline, but we're still looking for content. Okay, we have Brother Ben Abdul Haq. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. And that's all I see at the moment. And all those who came on and jump off, you know how that go. They come on and jump off, and it's all good. So our debut. Well, before we go into our video presentation today, let's talk a little bit about independence declaration, new Declaration of Independence. Right. So the term itself, the Declaration of Independence, we know came from. I have my notes, but it was to separate from Britain's rule over the colonies, right? They wasn't the United States of America at that time. They were basically 13 colonies underneath the British regime, and they had a cry out over so many years that they were paying taxes and paying homage to a government that they had no representation in controlling the destiny of it. They were following out the strategies, the plans, the blueprints, the governance of, at that time, Britain. And then there is some language that we like to share as we prepare to share what we're calling a new Declaration of Independence. And we started off with the Adhan. And the Adhan is that new Declaration of Independence. And it's the Declaration of Independence for your soul, primarily. And once your soul gets free, then you can evolve to get your society, your environment free. So as we talk about new freedom, we're reclaiming, and for some reclaiming, our inheritance. And what is our inheritance? As is given in the Declaration of Independence, as is given in the Constitution, the preambles of the Constitution, the inheritance of the human being is human nature, human essence, and the potential to grow in that essence to its excellence, to its maturity. And so by us being at this time, actually that time period, 1700s, there were a group of people that were enslaved. They didn't have access to their human excellence. Though they were in their human form, they weren't able to express their human potential, whether it's through ideas, through physical freedom, and so forth and so on. So we as a new generation, next generation, present generation, we at a pivotal moment in our society and in our globe, in the time period of humanity. And we have to reflect, and we have to look back, we have to review, examine, take inventory, and move forward. So that's a little brief presentation from my perspective. We're going to get Bilal in a moment, but I want to just read just first part of the Declaration of Independence of the Constitution of the United States of America. And this is given as the action of the Second Continental Congress, July 4th, 1776. And one day we're going to actually do a whole series on that experience, right? Because there's so much different perspectives, and if it's up to you to really interpret, from history. That's the whole thing about history. That's the beauty of being independent. You get to review information for yourself. So, unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evince a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let's facts be submitted to a candid world. And it goes on and it expresses some of those grievances. And our hope, as we are making this connection, that we reflect on the grievances and the issues that we have been going through as a people. And we are thankful to be in our right mind to come to the maturity and come to the position of declaring for ourselves independence, going back to our original essence, our original inheritance, which is given in Revelation. Because Revelation comes after nature or those elements in nature gets off track. God redeems, he saves us, and gives us prophets, messengers, and revivers to bring us back to our human excellence. So that's what we hear. This is what we're celebrating. This is what we're acknowledging. This is what we are attempting to share with you all for you to join in the spirit. So with that, again, I'll turn it over to you for your remarks, and then we'll go into our today's presentation of Seeds of Awakening.
Mm-hmm. And I'd just like to I'd just like to put in the caveat or add to the conversation before we press play on the seeds of awakening. That these inalienable rights, these inalienable rights are rights that cannot be taken away. Yes, you may say throughout history, the people of African or African American descent, those rights were stripped away from us. However, God's rights, the Creator's rights, those rights cannot be denied. You know what I'm saying? Man can try to, they can attempt to rob you of your rights, rob you of your inheritance. However, that is that's a weak attempt. It's a weak attempt to rob someone of their inheritance, because the Creator will be on the side of those who are always been afflicted. The Creator will be on the sides of the people who have suffered. The Creator will be in the sides of the people who are oppressed all the time, and throughout history, and mainly throughout Revelation. You see that. You see the parables of those who are oppressed were eventually those who came out on top as far as victory is concerned, as far as being able to access those rights, to have those rights accessible not only to them, to those who were oppressed, but to all those in the communities that they established. You see, they established communities way before this declaration was written, before this document was produced. There were communities that existed and civilizations that existed, who had some form of governance to them. To have some form of governance. And our example is always an example and a role model for all of us. It says the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, prayers and blessings be upon him, was not just an example for the Muslim, but an example for all mankind, in his character and in his governance. In his governance of how he operated on the daily with people. When he established Medina, this model city, there was some governance. There was articles of governance. What's the taxes like? What's the taxes like? What is this like? What is that like? How should we treat the non-Muslims who are living amongst us? How should we treat them? What's the treaties? What's that look like? So the idea of governance has already been there. So the inalienable rights that we have as human beings, yes, man has tried to corrupt man in his corrupt state, has tried to rob us of our inalienable rights. But we're here today to talk about the new Declaration of Independence, that we have an inheritance too. You see, all these other people, all these other different groups of people in this country have established themselves in their communities, or their jamaats, their communities in their specific locations. Little Italy, little China, little Chinatown, little this, little that. You have all these little places, all these little towns within a city. But Allah says, the Creator says, well, that is accessible to all of us. We all can do that. So those people who came over here to establish that, they already knew that already. They knew that they could establish something here. They knew that they could seek out opportunity here. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand too that we have something special, people. We have something very special. We went through treatment. We went through treatment over 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, and added to that. We went through that. We went through that traumatic experience. We went through that traumatic experience. We suffer from generational trauma. So I'm saying generational trauma that has persisted from generation to generation. And now in 2020, and we're looking at the bigger context. We're looking at the context, Aki. July 4th. Frederick Douglass made a whole address about July 4th. What is July 4th? He made a whole statement about it, a whole speech. You know what I'm saying? And he called them out. He called the cats out. He called out the hypocrisy of the mindset of certain minds. How can you call yourself a nation of independence, but yet you're treating people like savages? You're acting like savages, man. You're treating people like savages, man. How can you say that? So it takes a sober mind to speak up, who has some sense of his inheritance, to say that, well, this doesn't sit well with me. I got to speak out against it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. You talk about we want inalienable rights, but inalienable rights is all across the board for everybody, no matter who they are. You know what I'm saying? So, I just want to put that out there. So we're here to talk about
Excellent.
our experience, man, and our experience is a blessed experience. We're blessed to see 2020. We're blessed to see this new time, and we can take advantage of the cultivation that is present. There's a lot of areas that we can till the land in certain fields, and we have the expertise in our community, in the African American community, to go ahead and establish ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And now is the time to do that.
Excellent, excellent. So those are just our opening remarks on our theme for this week. We're going to play our video called Seeds of Awakening. And afterwards, we're going to have a post discussion and wrap up for today. We're doing nice and light, nice and easy.
Nice and easy, man.
As we gradually move and launch for the 7-stage development. So this documentary is actually produced by the New Africa Center. The New Africa Center is the Muslim American Museum and Archive, where the Muslim experience comes to life. So we'll get right to our video presentation.
It was just a beautiful growth. It was like somebody had dropped some seeds in the grass, and from there on, they just grew and spread. And it was the kind of seed that would take. Yes. I mean, it's not a seed that if it rained too hard, it might drown it, or it was a seed that would take.
I came into the nation in 1958, and the first time I heard about a Muslim was on my street when Brother Joseph X him and his mother was fighting in the street, basically because he had thrown her ham out in the garbage when he first heard the teachings. She beat him with a bat, and the police was called and everything, and I said, well, what's wrong with him? He threw Miss Lorraine Ham in the garbage. I said, oh, goodness. I said, well, why he do that? Because he's in that religion. And they crazy.
Back in maybe 51, 52, we had a barbershop on the corner, 25th and Harlem. The barber name was Charlie Sims, Brother Charlie. He had just come out of jail. Mm-hmm. He had been in jail with the messenger in Washington, D.C. And Charlie came to Philadelphia, and he started a barbershop. And that's when we first heard about Islam. It was inspiring. It was interesting, and so every night we would go and listen to Charlie talk.
They might be in there cutting hair, but they in there preaching Islam, and their method of it and their interpretation of it,
So, we little jitterbugs, and we look at these brothers and, oh man, these guys are communists, because communism was prevalent at that time, at the witch hunt.
But the barbershop got too small. Then we went to Garbage Hall. Garbage Hall sometimes didn't have heat in the wintertime. So we found a place on Bailey Street, and we bragged about it because we got a hall that we can have meetings in, and upstairs there's a dining area where we can, sell dinners and everything. So we opened the ears and the minds of a lot of people in that neighborhood.
It goes way back. Let me say how it really started. Norris started telling me about the temple. Then David had went one time, and Edward had went. Eventually, I went there. And when I went there, Kamal Majed was teaching. I don't know whether you've heard him or not, but he was one of the most organized teacher or speaker that I've ever heard. And after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I was hooked because the brotherhood was so strong.
So we were learning Islam, and I'm going through this thing about, do I want to be a Muslim? I'm thinking about I can't mess with no more girls. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it really traumatized me and all. In fact, we worked in a marijuana house where they bought the bags of marijuana and put it on the coffee table. And all we had to do was roll the joints, to sell. We could smoke all the joints we want. We weren't getting paid, but we was getting high, and I mean, the coffee table was piled up like that. And we'd be in there all day rolling joints and all like that. And one of our games, we had guns, and we used to take a gun and put one bullet in the chamber. And we hide. We spin it, Russian roulette. Yeah, Russian roulette.
When my friend and I would come out of school, it was a brother, and we used to always want to talk with him. So he sold a Pittsburgh Courier, and he would tell us to read this and turn to the page where the messenger would have his message in the Pittsburgh Courier. But we would just save our little money to buy the paper because it was a cute brother, So that was how we started getting information about the nation and about Islam.
The night I wasn't with them, my best friend, brother, Robert Carter, they was playing Russian roulette, and the bullet got him. Bang! And when I found out about it, I went home and I prayed. I prayed to Allah. I said, oh, Allah, save his life and I'll be a Muslim. So I stopped doing all that stuff, Robert Carter had that bullet in his head from 1953 all the way up until about 3 years ago. So that's how I became a Muslim, really. Because seriously, I didn't want to give up drinking and smoking and all that other stuff I was doing.
But they came into the temple, man, and just clean up. That's how I show you how strong that teaching was, man. No, what you call it, the rehab? None of that kind of stuff. The rehab was coming to the temple.
Really, the unity that was among the believers was the thing that attracted me the most because they were so close. I mean, the Muslims, to me then, they didn't want to be apart. Everything that they did, it was to be together. Monday was FOI night. Then on Tuesday was Unity night. And Unity night, we would have we do quizzes together. Imam Wabasti Muhammad would fix a pot of chili. Then Wednesday was the regular meeting night. Thursday was MGT night. Friday was another meeting night. And Saturday, we would end up at the Now restaurant down at 60th and Chestnut with Sister Sadie and Brother John. And after we finished, but we just always wanted to be around each other.
And, you had that neighborhood thing during that time. If you were from the neighborhood, you was cool. If you walk out of the neighborhood, you got a problem. But yet we had a group that could go anywhere because we had that strength. We knew that we had somebody had our back, the whole bit. So I think that's the thing that brought me in so closely with the temple.
We would sit up all night when Malcolm was here. We sit up all night talking. We had a Unity house, a fruit house on 2503 Oxford Street, a big house. And that's where Malcolm would stay, and all the brothers would come there. And when we get off from work, we would go, everybody go over to the house, the Unity house, and we eat. And then we would just sit up all night. We weren't tired, because we was young anyway. Then we would go to the temple, set the temple up, get the temple ready, fish and all like that. After the meetings was over, then we come back to the house and sit around and talk. And next thing we know, it's time to go to work. Hardly getting any sleep.
When I talked to friends, they asked me about the nation. That struck me was when they spoke about how to eat to live for something reason. And I thought to myself, that's interesting that a religion would teach you how to eat, because I come from the church. I was raised in the Christian church, and it was always about fried chicken and a whole lot of eating, So I followed carefully when they said fast 3 days out of each month. I study alternative healing. So I have had no sick days. I take no medicine from nothing. Harold takes no medicine. He's 75 in a few months. I'm 71 in a few months. If it wasn't for the nation, if we was eating like a lot of people out here, we wouldn't be where we're at. You know what I mean? And when I found out,
I don't think I'd be alive.
Me either.
No,
Me either.
I was on the wrong track. I know it.
Especially with the diet thing.
But health was something that was the #1 priority in the Nation of Islam. We had nurses that taught us about how to take care of our bodies, how to take care of our children, and we had all this information that was available to us. And this is what was taught in the MGT classes.
Yeah, it's a Muslim girl training. You learn some of everything in it. Everything.
How to eat,
How to
what to eat, what not to eat.
And how to care for yourself as an individual. It just teaches you some of everything. Excellent.
Cooking, sewing, how to act at home and abroad, and extra stuff, knitting and crocheting and all kinds of things. It kept you busy. So you really didn't have time to really get into any mess, as I'll say, that came later years.
I remember one particular night, Brother Jeremiah, Brother Malcolm, just me, we stayed up all night talking and learning strategy and psychology and all this about how to get our people and how to talk to them and all. Then we had to take classes. We had some of our brothers would go to Dale Carnegie Institute to learn how to win friends and influence people and talk to people, also, how to handle the people coming into the temple at that time, all these different personalities and how to get them in unison, and how to work as a group and how to advance, the nation at that time.
Yes, the fishing is when we go out in groups, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of us. We go out in groups and we see, just like the Jehovah's Witness, we see people talking to them and so forth. And they say, oh, yeah, I heard about it. And we invite them if they like to come. I don't know, man, maybe you catch me another time. And you make it a point to try to go back and catch them another time. And sometimes they start coming.
And we just moving and fishing and bringing people in. And we were growing. The nation was really growing.
We were moving, man. We were moving. And we were moving not like it was a burden. We was moving like it was a pleasure.
Yeah, but we survived and we're growing and we're going to continue to grow.
No other form of Islam, no Eastern form of Islam would have turned us around. The messenger came with a message for what we would call the lost found nation, was lost and now found. The message was for us, and it proved to be for us, as far as I'm concerned, because we needed something special. We needed to be really woken up.
I think the Nation of Islam was a training time for us. I'm not going to say, I'm not giving you the true religion. It'll come later on. Right now, I'm trying to clean you up. So I think the Nation of Islam actually cleaned us up in terms of brotherhood, in terms of discipline, in terms of eating the right food and that kind of stuff. That was cleaning up. In terms of, in fact, we had Ramadan like once a year, once in December, that wasn't orthodox.
So my coming into Islam was really a blessing for me. And it wasn't the religious thing per se, because when you're young, religion is not the thing in mind, But later on, you realize it is the teaching of the religion that has caused you to really start making changes and take it serious and be more adult.
For the most part, I've been living a real clean life, And that just helped me because I was just getting ready to get into something, into that, you know, that street thing. When I came to the temple, you know, just getting ready to get into it, and I was saved by the Nation of Islam, you know, saved.
I didn't even know what to think at 14 when Emmett Till was killed. I can't remember my thoughts. You know, remember just what I didn't know what to think other than these people are really cruel. You know, I didn't have any significant deep thoughts on it. I couldn't analyze it the way I want, other than maybe that's the way it's supposed to be before I come in, you know. Yeah. But brother, when I come in and the man laid it down, I saw the picture clear. And I'm still waking up. I'm still waking up. Oh, yeah. Even at my age, I'm still seeing clear.
All right. Here we go. Now we are live. Excellent. How was that for our debut viewing on New Freedom Exchange? That was Seeds of Awakening, the early rise of Islam in Philadelphia, going back to the 1950s. May Allah have mercy and grant paradise to all of those pioneers that were in there that have passed. Brother Richard Hassan, who just passed recently, the one who was telling the story about the Russian roulette and how Allah blessed him not to be there that night when that brother got, you know, shot, and all those other things, and other brothers in there and sisters in there who presented and gave, you know, they gave their life to this new message, this new declaration of independence. And they had sacrificed a lot to be where they are. So how did you feel about that, Bilal?
It's powerful, man. I like that.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, alhamdulillah, that was all that. I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good starting, a good summary of the experience for the Nation of Islam in general, but also more specifically to the influence that the Nation of Islam had in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, Philadelphia, which was the 12th sign of the 12th temple. You know, the 12th temple. You know what I'm saying? So I like again, I always like hearing the stories of the elders and the pioneers of the experiences, because it's epic. They were doing some epic things, you know, like the unit, that whole piece about the unity house and doing all those events every day. Every day was an event, huh?
Yes, sir.
Every night in the service, it was something to do for the community, for the Jamaat. You see what I'm saying? You see, they wasn't revolving around this unsustainable model, Aki, of just having a masajid and just coming together on Friday for Jumma, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? No, the brothers and sisters had programming. They had game. You could tell they had like fun, gathering together, cooking, playing games, or socializing, fellowshipping, discussing and just being amongst each other. You know, that camaraderie was different. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that from the brothers and sisters who were being interviewed, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then having the presence of then the Minister Wallace there in the city, and also Malcolm, you know, having his presence in that city, you know, and them telling the stories of that experience. You know, I mean, it was to me, beloved, that was good. You know what I'm saying? I like hearing it, man. You know, so.
Oh yeah, excellent. And then you see how they was, you know, engaging the people too. You know, they call it fishing, right?
Fishing, and they also had to use the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. They had to take lessons on that book. Might have to break that book out, Aki, for the study group, man. How to Win Friends and Influence People. They had to use that to help the fishing.
Right.
To help with the fishing, because they had the lessons, but you heard what the brother and sister was saying about there was different characters coming inside the temple. So the lessons wasn't going to be, in my opinion, wasn't going to be enough to, what I got wasn't going to be enough to get them to stay or get them to come back. You want to get them to come back, you know what I'm saying, the next day or whatever, you know, so the next night, you know. So how can we make it seem as though, you know, we can be an open invitation to any kind of thought, you know what I'm saying? Because these guys were coming off the streets. These guys were coming, brothers and sisters had different experiences, so their mindsets were different than everybody else. So, you know, how can we relate this message to the people to whereas it's more an open invitation versus this is just something secret and this is something just between ourselves, you know? So How to Win Friends and Influence People, you know, was something that they used for the fishing act, but the lessons was part of the fishing, though.
Sure,
you know?
sure. I mean, because then you also had to realize that there were young people as well.
Right.
You know, that's it. They were coming in as teenagers, young adults.
Right.
Even with the Unity House piece,
Right.
you know, if you wasn't married, you had to stay with the brothers, man. You can't be out here freelancing. You know what I mean? And so some of the behaviors and the etiquettes that they had, though the language and some of the logic wasn't in accordance with the excellence of the Quran and the life example of the Prophet.
Right.
But they had a demeanor and a disposition that while they had studied winning friends and influencing from people, they also had a natural connectivity too. Like the sister early on said, you know, the brother threw away the ham, man. And the mother was about to go ham. The mother was about to go ham.
That's right.
You know, so yeah, this is just our debut number 1 day. We just thankful all those who are tuned in. Sister Constantina, Sister Khadija with the crispy right on.
That's right.
Sister Fahima, Sister Vera, Joanne, Irma.
Yep.
And all those who came in and out. We appreciate you all tuning in, reviewing with us our 90-year legacy. We're going back as far as we can go back. That's one of the original documentaries going back, giving stories from the 50s. We also have some material going back to the 30s coming from Imam Muhammad. We're going to view some of that this week. We also, as Bilal mentioned, tomorrow. What time are we doing tomorrow? Same time? 3, 1? What time is tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Jamaat.
How are we going to do that?
Well, hold on. I had the schedule right in front of me.
No problem. So tomorrow you can check our schedule on New Freedom Exchange. You can see the lineup. Also, we're co-streaming on our Taqwa Community Learning page. So all of you community members and public, you're welcome to check out the lineup. I think we also put the lineup in the description.
Yes, the lineup is in the description. And the lineup is also on the event page as well. So it's all on New Freedom Exchange. So just check the lineup for it. And we'll also be updating the page daily, you know, with our daily updates. We let you know if there's any time changes to the times or anything else. So wa alaikum salam, Sister Marsha. You said, I'm at work missing all the fun. Don't worry about it, sister. You'll be part of the action. You'll be part of the action. Don't worry about it. This is just the kickoff. This is the teaser, man.
No doubt. The other thing is that if any of you all have any stories you'd like to share, any experiences, any history that you'd like to share from your experience during that time period before 75. So right now we're doing a lot of before 75 Tomorrow we're going to go into 75, the transition, and then Friday forward we'll go after 75. So if you have any experience, I know Sister Fahima, she was a FOI MGT, one of our community members at Master Takwa. If I'm not mistaken, she might have been a sister captain. I'm not sure. I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't want in trouble now.
But I know she has some mean bean soup and very disciplined, and she shared how what attracted her in one of our community Talim's knowledge exchange public addresses. She shared how she would see the women with the clean white dresses. And a brother invited her to come to the temple. She said, well, I don't have a white dress. He said, well, you don't have to have that to come in, and that allowed her to come in, and she's been in ever since. So we have Sister Irma. She's on the line. She's also a pioneer in our community. Sister Vera and her husband, Brother Khalid, all of our community members at Takwa Community Learning Center, and those who are watching us, we thank you all for the great foundation. As the brother mentioned, Brother Chris Aziz, who's Brother Khalif grandfather, who's has his master's from Cheney University. Brother Chris Aziz was the secretary of Temple Number 12 when Imam Muhammad was there. And as he shared that Honorable Elijah Muhammad, method was to clean us up, to get us properly fit for us to accept the true religion of Al-Islam. And so it's our duty today to not just recall this history and extract from it, get these gems, these jewels, these lessons, but also we have obligations to go forward. It's very important because our families we're being challenged by our families. Our families and ourselves are being attacked from all angles through the culture. And so we ask Allah to seek protection from the harms of ourselves and the environment. Alhamdulillah. So any closing remarks?
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. This is, we thank the Creator for allowing us to be with you all on New Freedom Exchange and sharing this platform with you all. This is the theme for this week. Again, is new declaration, the new Declaration of Independence. This is Wednesday. This is the kickoff. We ask that you all share this live stream. We ask you all to share our timetable for events this week because we have a lot of things kicking off. We definitely appreciate those who have commented, those who have participated, those who have tuned in for the love of the New Freedom Exchange. We love you all. I'm saying, we love you dearly. And we give you this content out. We're providing you this content from our sincere hearts and sincere minds, which is very organic. We try to be very organic here. We try to be very sober and minded. We try to be very open-minded as well, and allowing this platform to grow. So we thank you all for being around in its infancy right now. New Freedom Exchange is in infancy. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you'll all be around to see it flourish, in the coming weeks and in the coming months, God willing.
God willing. So we thank you all for joining us on this exploratory journey of enlightenment, of the birth and development and the evolution of the new enlightenment that has come to this part of the world through the Nation of Islam and the African American people, the new people, the Balalian people. So until next time, we'll see you all tomorrow, God willing. Again, thank you all for those who join us, those who will come later and watch this, share this. We thank you for your support. Again, if you have any ideas, any comments, any stories, share it at Gmail. So it's New Freedom Exchange Show, New Freedom Exchange Show, exchange with an X, because X marks the spot. New Freedom Exchange Show at gmail.com. You can send us your lineup, or your stories, your profile. We would love to honor those of you who are still with us and those stories that you have, because this is firsthand. This is called primary resources, firsthand information. We don't want to get it secondhand. We don't want to get it watered down. We don't want to get it mixed up. We want it firsthand so we can continue to advance, enhance, and preserve this life and this legacy, God willing.
God willing.
So let me put the actual email on here real quick. New Freedom Exchange Show at gmail.com. Yeah, tomorrow's show would probably either be 1 or 3, so it'll be around the same time tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought I had it right in front of me.
No.
No problem. Yeah. So inshallah, God willing, talk to y'all. Assalamu alaikum. 1 hour on the dot.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.
We're out. Peace.